In this video with Amazon Connect with our contact center instance, we could configure users. In one of the steps, we had to configure users. And when we created our instance, the first thing we did was create an admin user while we created our instance. And then we went in and created a couple of agents so we could test our contact center and everything else like that. But I want to summarize users in general. And so just recap on some of the things. So with users, user management enables the adding and managing and deleting of users. And we talked about we could use a repository out of the box, which comes with Amazon Connect. Uh, Very quickly, we could do a lot of different things to demo, etc. Typically, companies do use Active Directory. You could use managed service, use your on-premise Active Directory, and SAML 2.0 is used for a single sign-on, etc. But when you create a user, you specify settings like routing profiles and permissions. So if I create an agent, they would have a routing profile. It's an English speaking agent or it's a Spanish speaking agent, etc. And that agent, we could add permissions. That agent has the ability to go to the contact control panel and take calls, but we could also add permissions for them to look at analytics if we want them to be a super agent, etc. So that's one thing we wanted to talk about. We showed import and exporting of users uh, previously, and so with our simple user repository, which comes with Amazon Connect, we could import and export users and manage users that way. Once again, once the system gets very large, it's hard to scale with that, but we could do it. We talked about security profiles. Now, security profile is okay, this agent has the ability to look at the agent workspace or this contact control panel and nothing else. Security profile could allow a different agent group to look at metrics and other things. So, security profile, you can activate certain permissions and attach that user to the security profile so they have different permissionings. We also talked about the users using a soft phone or a desk phone. So the agent is picking up the call using, let's say, the soft phone. They log into Amazon Connect and they use the soft phone and they just go to their contact control panel and they pick up the call and they accept the call. Um, it also supports auto accepting calls, but usually the agent wants to define this ACW timeout, which is after they deal with one customer, they want to document and update their records for certain things, and so they might have like 5 minutes after that to do finish up on that work for the previous call. They could set auto accept calls and get calls immediately, which means they could probably get their work done, and a call could come in. Um, And the next item is proficiencies used for routing, like predefined attributes, language subtypes. We talked about this. I think we configured something like this. But but uh, but it's very interesting and very powerful, and it's definitely something we want to look at. And of course, there's view historical changes for users, which we looked at. We looked at that, and we could see which users modifying, adding an agent, or changing his permissions, etc. It should be the AWS Connect admin, contact center admin person. So if you see something change, you could say, "Oh, who changed that? Did the root user change it, etc., etc." Okay, and then I do want to mention the Salesforce CTI adapters, right? So Salesforce has a CTI adapter which you can connect your CRM uh, to Amazon Connect. And so when you get a phone call from a customer, that user profile information can get pulled into the agent workspace, and you could see that data as you're picking up the call as an agent and helping the customer You could say, "Oh, hi, Sally. How are you doing? Thanks for being a gold customer." And I see you have a case open. So now with ServiceNow, there's also an adopter. You could see the cases and information associated with the case management of what has happened with this particular user. And you could say, "I could see you have trouble getting a refund. Let me help you with that." So there's all these nice things. And just to drill down just a little bit more, um, we did talk about customers, right? So customers. So once you configure your contact center, you have a web page, you have a contact number there that's your channel of communication for your voice. So you have that on the web page, a channel. You also have a chat. You could have in in-app calling. You could expose a WhatsApp to it, etc. So there's different things you could do for the customer, and there's some videos on YouTube with Amazon showing you how to do these things. But one step at a time. You want you want to activate the phone, then you want to activate the chat, and then you want to start doing some of this social networking stuff, which is always one step further. So with customers, you do have customer event streams, you have conversational logs. So what that means is I'm on a call, I'm a customer on a call with an agent, and both our sounds are getting recorded, and both of them are going into the sound file, and it's getting dumped to an S3 bucket. Um, and that could be transcribed into text, and so the conversational logs could be happening as well. So what you'll see in the S3 bucket is, where's my chat transcripts? Where's my sound, my recordings? Where's my different uh, stuff that's getting streamed? And you can go in there and see that stuff. And like I said, there was channels. Like I said, voice chat, and also social networks. And like I said, typically with call recording, you could listen for call quality. You could separate voice and customer voice and the agent voice and see who's doing a bad job here, what's the sentiment of the customer, etc. So there's all these nice things you could do. And then there's chat transcripts are nice because you have this text transcribed call sound file, which now is in a chat transcript, and that could get loaded into, let's say, a glue catalog, and you could query the stuff by Athena, or you could trigger events and put that into Snowflake and do analysis, which is typically done. And then you got in-app calling, which is really good. And like I said, I suggest you go to some of the recent AWS presentations. You might see a good application of how a user goes onto a web page. And we should do this with our contact center. We're gonna have a web page with a call number, and we'll see the chat widget on the bottom of our home page for our business, and we would be able to do in-app calling where I could click on a link in the application and call. And we didn't talk too much about that, but we'll talk about some of that too, because it's not just getting a phone call. It's like, can we have a can we have an interaction on it that your business will do? So we do have agent event streams, and like I said, we could stream sound files and conversational logs. The sound files are transcribed, and we have JSON objects with the JSONs with the and you could look at that with customer agent conversation. You could look at that as just the agent separated from the customer. um, and you got these two other things, agent workspaces and contact control panel. So if the agent just goes to the contact control panel, they could listen to pick up calls on a queue. So an English speaking agent goes to a queue, an English speaking queue, they could take calls. If they get someone who's Spanish, a customer that's Spanish, they could use a quick connect and transfer them to the Spanish call agent. Um, and then agent workspaces, this is really beautiful stuff, and this is the new stuff that's out there. Agent workspaces, when the agent picks up the call, the Salesforce information comes in, and the agent could see the customer information. The ServiceNow cases come in, and they could see the cases associated with the customer. They could say, "Hi, Mary, how can I help you? Thank you for being a gold member. I see you have a case open. Is that why you're calling?" "Yes, I am." All of a sudden, the sentiment of the customer is very good because they like the experience. Okay. Um, but keep in mind if the agent doesn't do a good job and the customer is upset, there's something called contact lens, which will improve the customer sentiments. And so contact lens will monitor in real time or post call uh, what happened with the interaction. Oh, it'll show you the customer's unhappy when they first call. The agent's helping them. The agent recognizes what their issue is without the customer telling them. The sentiment of the customer is getting better. The customer is saying, "Yes, that's why I called because of this case." And the agent says, "I'll be right with you and I'll help you." Um, then the agent can be basically tell the customer that he could give them 50% off of a product, and the customer says, "Well, that would be really great." And you see the customer sentiment really improving. So contact lens monitors that and is used to analyze the agent customer interaction to improve the performance. Now, wisdom goes one step further. Wisdom will say, as the customer is talking, Wisdom uses Amazon Q, Bedrock, agents using knowledge bases, etc. So what happens as the customer is talking, Wisdom is giving the agent quick links, step-by-step guides on what to tell the customer, and giving them answers to the questions, so the agent does not have to look up the information. And it uses this concept of knowledge bases. So for example, I'm gonna uh, I'm I'm gonna and we're going to be, let's suppose I'm renting cars, right? For a business that's renting cars, and there's a knowledge base there with the miles per hour for the car and everything associated with the air conditioning and everything else. I create this knowledge base with these PDF documents. I put them in an S3 bucket. Bedrock helps me create a vector database in Elasticsearch, and Amazon Q could now answer questions about the cars that I'm renting. So as the user, customer is asking questions, you got this knowledge base in the back end, and Amazon Q giving the agent these dynamic answers like, oh, they want to rent a Cadillac that goes a certain 240 miles an hour, and it has comes with air conditioning in the front and back, whatever the case may be. These things, wisdom helps the agent improve the customer sentiment and help the customer using artificial intelligence. So this is the main goal of these two. These are very popular these days, and it really improves the business. Okay, now status changes in agents. We could say the agent could change his status and say, "I'm on lunch break, be back in 30 minutes," whatever. And they could be online, offline, whatever it may be. Um, th- there's this new concept of hierarchies. You could have four levels of agents and change their permissioning so the agents can be in groups and teams, and reporting and access can be segmented, and you could have access control for each level. Uh, and you could have that for users in general, but most likely used for agents initially. And you have these agent connection time metrics. So so to make a long story short, with agent, basically you when you set up Amazon Connect, you make sure that Amazon Connect, you check the checkbox you want contact lens activated. And I think that happens by default now because I just did it and I noticed that. But if you go into a contact flow and you're doing call recording and you drop and drag a block in a workflow, when the user calls, they go into this contact flow, and there's a block there that says record. The customer and agent's recording, and then what you do is make sure that contact lens is activated there. And when you do that, you could specify you want it in real time and post call, and basically what'll happen is as the customer is talking, you'll see the sentiment of the customer, and you'll see the agent either taking too long to respond, or or triggering some event that something is not going right, and the supervisor can kick in and join the call and say, "Oh, here, let's do this, let's do that, and here I'll give you a free coupon," and make the customer happy so we don't lose the customer. If the customer says, "I want to cancel my service," then yes, contact lens could send a real-time alert to a supervisor and they could jump on right away. So just wanted to review some of that stuff with you with agents, uh, and we'll take a look at some of that in our configuration. So that's all we wanted to say in this video, and let's move on.